Hey, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by saying, call Allah, Yahabashim Yahashai, Yahabashim Yahashai, Barakakadash Brakathum, to you, Akim, double honors to our apostles, to our elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you, brothers out there teaching and enduring true sincerity. This is Rob Amouth for the Nebraska camp. This is Jim, that's any pushing the mark. I want to go over just, health, preventative maintenance and just maintenance on the body, you know. I'm going to be using my NASM book as a reference. This is for personal training and nutrition. So the accuracy is it's not just I'm not a random Google or which is okay. Google's okay for the most part, but it's not just like a random Google or just me running popping off at the mouth, man. These are studied numbers and everything. Help step two. All right, you gotta get up out of here, man. Come on, stop messing with stuff. Early, gets early. Go ahead. So yeah, this isn't a random Google or anything. Okay, what's going on, my love? Yeah, Salakia for that, Akim, but hey, man, it's a family, so it is what it is. So, with that being said, we're gonna jump right into what the topic of the day, and we're gonna pull out some precepts as well. Of course, we're gonna pull out some precepts. We're gonna start off with Ecclesiastes. I'll turn it a little bit left. Start with Ecclesiastes. Chapter 30, it's like Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 30, verse 14. It says, better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. Okay? And the brother sent, hey, y'all close that door. It says, health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. Okay, a strong body is above what? Infinite wealth. All right. The brother in our camp sent the video where showing an example of that. It says there is no such riches above a sound body, and no joy above the heart. It's like and no joy above the joy of the heart, which is pretty much peace of mind. Okay, because what the heart is your heart is your mind, or your heart is your spirit. Lob, pretty much goes back to your thinking, your mind. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit, your mind, the processing, and pretty much the peace of mind. There's no money worth the amount of peace of mind. Just like being a drug dealer or jag bull, you always got to look over your shoulder. It gets exhausting after a while because you have no peace of mind. You can't go places. You can't, do certain things. All right. And it's an important statement because a lot of people do things where it says what. Let me see here. Get the precept real quick. Like it, this shit, yeah, pissing me off. Be trying to click over a certain word. Mark 8:36. It says, "What shall profit it? What shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?" You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. When it comes to money, to the point that money is the root of money is the root. The love of money is the root of all evil, but money is a defense. But if you skew that balance, then you're gonna it's never gonna amount to a productive outcome. Okay, everything has to be balanced. As the Lord said, a false balance is an abomination unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You know, and it is very true. Okay, now let's get back to the subject at hand, because some of these things I'm gonna try to find. I might not be able to find the points. I should have tabbed them, you know, but I'm kind of, you know, just going off the whim from what I read. Okay, but going into health and getting your body right. You know, brothers are getting older. Okay, the Lord will protect us in spirit, but He still gave us a trajectory of time to live in this body, and I believe it's like 60 years old at this point in time. So that means this body is going to build up and it's going to break down. All right, and well, guess what? 30 is the halfway mark to 60. Okay, so you're going to build up, and once you hit that 30, you're going to start breaking down. All right. And the mentality is that when you're building up, you think you're invincible. You think you're young. You can eat this. You can run and do this. You can bump this. And you could bruise this. You know, especially I started fighting about like when I was 23, 24 years old. I am 38 now, so I've experienced injury recovery a lot, and it's a big difference once you hit 30. You know what I'm saying? When the same injury that took probably 2 days or a week to bounce back from, it took months, you know, to bounce back from. And I used to think that, oh, it feel cool now, I'll be all right. I go back in there. I bust up my leg one time, went back up in there. I just, no stretching, no nothing, hop in a ring going, and all I did was slip, boom, collapse, boom, knee, toe up. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, I didn't tear any ligaments, or it was a huge strain type of deal. But long story short, it took me out for like half a year. You know, just on some regular, like I could have recovered faster if I would have attended properly to it. You know, using the turmeric and just different things to heal. You know, just relying on prayer and just ice and all that. You know, it bounced back eventually. But the point is that, you'll start realizing your own mortality. Now, outside of that, we all make decisions. There's a point where you're going to realize, oh, I need to start taking care of myself. Okay. And there's a thing called integrated training in the OP model. Okay. And it's very important because most people think that I don't know if you can see, okay? Most people think they have to start right here, especially most Jake. They believe they have to start right here. Muscular, what it says, muscular endurance. Well, not muscular endurance, it's phase 3, muscular development, okay? And because muscular endurance is always skipped over by a lot of people. They just go to pumping iron. You know what I'm saying? It's like the first thing you should be doing is stabilization endurance, which is the foundation. Your ability to stand up and maintain your balance, to do anything, to stand on one foot, to stand on the other foot, to balance and control your body. Yeah. Get out of the camera for me, love. Y'all go back in the room until I finish. So, the ability to maintain your body weight, control your own body. Because Jake is superficial. They wanna look strong, so that makes them feel strong. Okay, but as the Lord said, health and a good estate of body are above all gold, and that good estate of body is pretty much a homeostasis. Okay, when you go into the word, homeostasis is tendence towards stability among independent elements, from homeo-similar stasis, standing still. The word homeo goes back to resembling the same kind, equal, related, meaning every body part is in good function. Your heart is in good function, your liver is in good function, your kidneys good function. You can't be a specialist in your heart and not attend to your liver or your kidney, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. Everything has to be treated, okay? You can't sit here and pump iron and not do stretching, because I don't care about all this. You can have a crazy, all this is good, muscle, but right here is joints. And no amount of fucking weight is going to strengthen this for the most part. A lot of stretching. It's a rubber band. You got to do a lot of stretching, a lot of, you know, you know what I'm saying? You have to do that. And I guarantee you, if you haven't ever had an injury, most injuries happen, injuries happen on muscles and both overstraining the muscles, but a lot of, you know, silly or consistent injuries happen. Rotator cuffs, you know, ligaments, LCLs, MCLs, and there's no amount of squats that can help an MCL or LCL. You have to do a lot of stretching, a lot of mobility training. Okay, then once you go into the mobility, then you go into strength endurance. Your ability to have your muscle maintain weight for a certain period of time. And it don't have to be something overly exercised. As a trainer, I like to use Pilates, something called Pilates, that will give you strength endurance. Very easy thing. If brothers are interested, you could use a Pilates timer. I'm not sure if I have it. I do have it on my phone. I'd be silly not to have it on my phone. Not Pilates, it's like a Tabata. You know, again, Tabatas are a good way, okay? And there's an app, you can see this app right here. It's a Tabata timer. And this timer is 5 seconds off, 10 seconds on. I think it's like 8 rounds. And it doesn't give your muscles the ability to rest, but at the same time it gives it some rest. And within that rest, you're not even lifting. You don't gotta lift 30 pounds every round. No, you can start off with 10 pounds. I guarantee you're gonna be looking for the 5 pounds by the second half of that round, because you just hitting them fast as you can. Is muscle endurance. You know, that's why bodybuilders don't. That's why boxers and UFC fighters are never walking around yoked up, because they're relying on muscle endurance and fat for energy. Okay, because it's okay to have a little fat on your body. There's good fats and there's bad fats. Okay, there's saturated. There's I forget the difference. There's LDLs and there's when you're dealing with cholesterol. There's good fat like avocado, and there's bad fat like the fat on meat. Okay, so just using that as an example. You know, continuing on, because I wanted to get into the meat and crust of what I wanted to speak on. So once you go into there's something called chronic diseases and there's something called acute diseases. Acute is medical event or disease can be treated and healed in a short period of time. Chronic disease is a medical condition, long duration for 3 months or more. So a broken arm is a chronic disease. A headache is an acute disease, because all you need is a Tylenol or go to sleep or some water or whatever the remedy, and it'll go away. But a chronic disease is something that is there for years, months, and only way that this happens is if you're not paying attention to your homeostasis. You're not paying attention when you and Jake think they're invincible. You get up and you're moving around and you never exercise. You never, again, your homeostasis is make sure your heart's pumping good. How can you know if your heart's pumping good if you're always sitting on your tail part? You know what I'm saying? Then when you got to go up a flight of stairs, oh shit, I'm getting lightheaded, I'm getting dizzy. Or I'm just sitting there drinking and you drinking, and then this is a real life situation for me. Booming headache. All right, let me take a Tylenol. Didn't work. Let me lay down. Didn't work. Oh shit, I gotta get some blood work done. Fucking cholesterol's through the roof. And it's like from drinking, from eating anything that I just want to eat. And speaking from a personal experience, again, remember I was training at 23, 24 actively as a fighter. I started coaching probably 32, 33, right? Around that age, once you start coaching, you're not working out as much as you were when you were training, all right? So I'm thinking in my mind, I'm able to do the same things that I was doing when I was training. And once I started trying to do stuff, it's like, oh snap, it's not. This is not good. So I had to, and also I alluded the point that I was making is that I was eating what I wanted when I was training, but I was running. I was doing everything. I didn't really lift weights. I did more calisthenics, which lifting weights are okay. Nothing wrong with lifting weights. Calisthenics is the most natural way because and this is the reason why I wanted to go over to the stabilization and mobile, because some people think that they got to run 10 miles to get in shape. You can walk 4 miles. You can walk 3 miles. You can walk 2 miles or a mile. You can walk. You don't have to put on a Rocky music dun, 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 and go and try to get your health up. Okay? You can walk. You can do little step sides and clap. You just gotta get your homeostasis, get your heart doing what it's supposed to do, because in this society all we're doing is sitting down. You go to work, you're sitting down, you know what I'm saying? You fast food, you don't gotta go run and tackle a goat or what, you know what I'm saying? That's what, the joke, the running joke we have in our camp. We ain't tackling goats no more for our food. Also your ratio of apportioning, where everything's on site. There's a bunch of stuff pumped into the food, and then on top of that, you don't got to go and look for it. You don't got to go and cut up and dig up your carrots and do all that to eat. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is go to the store with your grocery cart and just pick up stuff. So that's even less workout that you're doing. Okay? If you're a security guard or your office job, you ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's just it. Even us on the highways, the Lord's spiritually protecting us, but we're just literally just standing up, So I'm just going over all of our daily actions as men of the Lord, and it's really low activity. Okay, so some may have to start running and kind of power walk because they got to get that heart working, get that sweat going. You need your body to start doing the stuff it do. Okay, eating and drinking the right things. All right. My personal, speaking as a man, my personal tactic of dieting is that I eat for the most part. When I look for meals and I go to the store, I buy things that are healthy. I circle around the outer part of the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? I make my inner parts when I got to get my rice or my pasta, because I still mess with that. But the whole crust of my food is on the outside of the grocery store. Old lady put me on that a while ago. I'm sure brothers know about that as well. And she always told me, don't shop when you're hungry. Don't go grocery store hunting when you're hungry, because you ain't gonna do nothing but get a bunch of irrelevant shit, But yeah, continuing on, I want to go over the causes of death. Okay. It says coronary artery disease, a specific type of heart disease, is a leading cause of death in both men and women. Okay, the leading cause of death in both men and women. I'm gonna show you this list again. This pie chart. This above is all the heart things. At the bottom is all the regular things that kill people. Okay. All right. You don't see guns is on this list. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things on this list, firearms is way down here. Guess who's way up here? Tobacco use. Okay? Overweight is the second leading cause of death. Y'all out here taking that Jabberwocky, not the brothers or sisters within the ministry, but I'm talking about people that's out there taking the Jabberwocky. They're living a worse life than we are. All right? They're because we don't eat pork and certain things and consume certain things, because we kind of privy and we work on it, but it's not with an acute attentiveness. Okay? So people in the world that eat pork, tobacco, smoking cigarettes, you're going to catch a heart attack way faster. Okay? You're clogging your arteries up. It's a cancerous. It's a high carcinogen. French fries, anything that you any vegetable that you ignite to a high level, like a French fry, or you deep frying cauliflower, you pretty much eating, you might as well smoke a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, it's a cauliflower. Just because it's a cauliflower don't mean it's a cauliflower to get done with it. You might as well be eating a little baby nuclear missile by deep frying a cauliflower, because you're putting it through an extreme amount of heat. It's the same thing with canola oil and vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is vegetables, but they're putting it through a lot of heat, and it turns it into a carcinogen. Okay, and as they say, you wouldn't pour that stuff down your drain in your sink, so why would you put it in your body? Because it's going to do nothing but clog up your sink. How much more is it going to do to your body? You know, me personally, I stay away from vegetable oil and canola oil. The best oil for you to deal with is your olive oil and your coconut oil. All right, because those are good fats. Those are good. Those are the LDLs. Okay. Not LDLs. Those aren't the LDLs. It's like the LDLs are the bad ones. I forget. I believe it's SDLs. I don't quote me on it, but you can Google it and see. But I want to get to the point that I'm gonna get to the point of regular death, tobacco smoking, overweight, obesity, alcohol, infectious disease, toxins, motor vehicle collisions, firearm deaths, sexually transmitted infections or diseases, drug abuse. Okay, it's crazy they go crazy on the war on drugs, which is at the bottom, right? I'm not advocating say no, ignore that, but just think about how Babylon attacks things. Drug abuse is that's the most prevalent, one of the most prevalent things they're after. You had, the drug, the DARE program, which all these things are bad. I don't want to catch no disease, right? Or no toxins or infections. Firearm deaths. All these so-called mass. How many people die in vehicles? More people die from infectious disease, and this is what I learned when I was doing, because I took a CNA certificate. I got my CNA license like years ago, and when I was getting it my first time about 6 years ago, the lady told me in class, and it was through the spirit, man. This lady didn't care about none of that. She really was one of them health buffs that was talking about the truth of things, and she said that more people die from in-hospital infections, meaning that you came in for one reason, they addressed that, and through them addressing that, you got infected. Something. Pretty much you got infected from them not doing something right, not sanitizing something properly, or something got pus or infected and you got to go back to surgery. More people die from that than the reason they came in for. Okay? So say you come in, you broke your leg. You break your leg, all right, they fix your leg cast up and healed. Now you got an infection in that stitching area, that breaking point. People died from more of the infection than they died from the broken legs. Okay? But you can see there's an agenda with Babylon, because once you go up to tobacco smoking, they may up the price. You could just stop selling that shit, man. You worry about guns. You trying to take guns off the street. Just stop selling tobacco. You go to McDonald's, you can get a Big Mac for $4-7. You know what I'm saying? A meal, $7-8. A salad's gonna hit you for $12. Pork is extremely more cheap than venison, bison, the good meats. Okay. And so I could go. My mind is just kind of going right now because there's so much shit. Alcohol. All these things is just readily available. The most death applicable things are the most readily available things. The things that are killing people, but are not killing people as much, are the most things that they're trying to attack because it's games that they're playing. Look, 30,000 people died this year from that. But how many people died from obesity? A lot of people that took that Jabberwocky, the most people that were going to die first are the fat people, man. The most people that got that CVID are fat people. As it being a respiratory disease, and you breathe, you breathe it like that. Yeah, man, you already have a respiratory. You're already behind in a respiratory area. You breathing like that and you ain't even sleep yet. And then when you get COVID, your next, or CVID, Salakin, I'm saying Salakin to the algorithm. My bad, algorithm. My bad, YouTube. Yeah, man. You breathe like that, and once you catch that CVID, man, you start, your necks are tightened up, so all that shit that was already bad, now you have no chance. You know what I'm saying? But going back to the other portion, and these are, and this is deaths by the millions, man. And this is the deaths I was speaking on with the tobacco down to the drug abuse is deaths per year. Tobacco smoking is over 400,000 deaths per year. Firearm use is under 100,000. Not only under 100,000, but it's past the halfway mark, which means it got to be like 40,000 to 50,000 a year in deaths in firearm use. But they gun control, no, fat control. How about that? Fat control, smoking control, high carcinogen control. French fries is equivalent to a cigarette. Okay? But we'll continue on. So the type of heart diseases, you got ischemic heart disease, you got stroke, you got chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, lower respiratory infections, Alzheimer's disease and other dementias, trachea, bronchitis, lung cancers, diabetes, mellitus, road injury, diarrhea disease, what's that shit called? It's gonna come to me. Tuberculosis. I forget it's called. It's like C diff. Yeah. And C. diff happens when you take too much medications. You take too much antibiotics, and you don't take enough probiotics, and it don't balance out, so you kill all the bacteria in your stomach, and pretty much you can't control your shit, and you dehydrate, and you'll end up dying from it, because it's a disease that's uncurable, because the things that cure your shit is antibiotics. But when you take, that's people that's always running to the hospital, taking this, taking that, and your body just get immune, and you pretty much kill all the bacteria in your stomach, and there's no way for you to break down foods. And good probiotics as regular foods is something like bananas, yogurts, and things like that. Because if you got, as I got a dog in the background, and you get a dog and your dog starts to, get them loose, not loose stools, because pumpkin to help the loose stools, but you got your dog, you want your dog to have good health to where they're pooping decently, and having nice good looking stools. You give them some yogurt, because it's a probiotic. Okay, it's something that will put bacteria in their stomachs that help that build up, that breakdown of those foods. Okay, this a dog tip. Okay, loose stools, pumpkins. If they're not pooping or their poop is very hard, you give them some yogurt. Okay, but besides that, okay, so a lot of people don't want to check their body. A lot of people don't want to go to the doctor and get a reality check, get that blood work done to make sure and see what their levels are, because it's for me too. It's a reality check. You don't want to hear your how the direct, you don't want to get a diagnosis that say you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to thing of pride. So, I go get my blood work. I'm not just going there every fucking month though. I get it, find out what's going on, then I just work on that until I feel a good homeostasis. Like I said, I eat healthy, and then I am not I'm not at the age where I'm just fully anti-drinking or anti-French fries or anti, this. I'm just not eating that shit every day. I probably eat it once a month. I probably, here and there. If I do French fries, I'll bake them. I'm not putting them in a deep fryer. You know what I'm saying? Bake them and season them up. Things of that nature. So there's, Jake can Jake that. You know what I'm saying? Looking for this next one. think that's it. What I wanted to get, but outside of that, yeah. So there's a list of diseases that are relative to heart, that are conducive to heart disease. Okay, got strokes, heart attacks, heart failure, heart valve problems, arrhythmias, ischemic heart disease, and see here, like and what's the name? Arteriosclerosis is pretty much a process of plaque is formed in the arteries, leading to reduced blood flow to the heart or brain. You know, and that comes from eating greasy foods, chicken. You know, Jake loved chicken, man. You know, and you have to stay away from them high carcinogenic foods. So you got hypertension, which is pretty much when you're hypertension is categorized by a blood pressure greater than 120 over 80. Your systolic and diastolic. Okay, and it says fitness professionals need to pretty much need to promote awareness of encouraging clients to modify risk factors such as a poor diet or lack of physical activity and tobacco use. That's why when you go to the hospital, they say, "Do you smoke any cigarettes?" Because they say, "Nigga, if you do, it's nothing we can really do because that shit is going to cancel all this out." When you go to cholesterol, elevated total cholesterol, it says chronically elevated cholesterol levels increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. Cholesterol is a waxy substance found in the blood that is made up of a combination of protein and fatty acids. All right, and that fatty acid, I forget that's what leads to gout. You know, because I was talking to someone yesterday about, you know, gout, and this is another thing. You know, sometimes Jake could get in their own way. You say things are hereditary, like you can't get around it. All right, things are hereditary. Inflammation, what's that? Whatever that disease is, it's a disease that autoimmune deficiency. That's what it is. And there's one in the bowels, there's one for the joints, there's one for that reacts to the joints, there's ones that react different ways. But at the end of the day, if you eat right, it would cancel out that autoimmune deficiency. So when Jake be like, "Oh, it's inherited, oh, it's my blood, oh, it's this," yeah, autoimmune deficiency attack a certain way based off of blood type, but it don't mean that you can just eat what you want and I can't help it because of my blood type. Stop being Jake. Stop trying to supplant yourself, you know? And you just make an excuse because you still want to eat that BS, man. You know? We have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to the people that the Lord set us over, okay? Because the Lord said us, if you're not married or with a family, you're over a church, man, or somebody's under you, okay? You're monitoring somebody, and not only on a personal sense, those people need you, but the Lord called you to do a thing. So take care of yourself so you can be in your homeostasis, so you can fix it, okay? It's the same thing with the spirit, okay? You can't just sit here and not read and not work on yourself. That's just like you not reading, it's like you not running. You know what I'm saying? You have to read. You have to pray. You have to do these things in order for you to be in a nice homeostasis, so when that time comes for you to utilize whatever you need to do, you're in a good body homeostasis to not be affected too much by those outside things. Okay? If you pray enough, you read enough, and you do this, when Satan attacks, you're prepared. Okay? You're not blindsided. You don't got to go back to you. Well, where that's precept at? You know? So that's cholesterol, high cholesterol, diabetes, a lot of sugars, a lot of sodas, cold drinks. You out here Sunkist, Sprite, and everything. You're just drinking. You know what I'm saying? And it makes it causes insulin resistance. Okay. Then you got cancer. Cancer is the same thing. It's sugar related. Okay. And I read it says cancer can affect people of all ages, but in most common in older adults, about 70% of cancer is diagnosed 55 years. There's a reason why they're going over cancer in a health book. They try to tell you like it's hereditary and you can't help it. Some shit is hereditary because you know why? Your mom probably had a bad diet when she had you. So you already probably halfway a step behind. Just like if your mom was on crack, you come out, you're a crack baby. So how much more of you're a pork baby? Or so your shit is already behind, but since you're young, you can fight it off, but you never fight it off, and you already step behind eating pork and eating this as you get up to about 14 years old. And now you're saying it's hereditary. No, it's hereditary. It's habitual. It's not hereditary. It's a habitual habit, okay, that just got passed along to you, okay. But it's me personally. I found it funny that cancer was a subject in this book that could be addressed. When you're told in society that cancer is it just happens. That because they want you to go to the hospital and get that chemo and all that, but that's just me speaking as a man. I'm gonna say it like that. Exercise can play a significant role. This is based off cancer. Exercise, my bad, let me back up a little bit. It says on the bright side, it is estimated that around 30 to 50% of cancers can be prevented by avoiding risk factors and implementing existing evidence-based prevention strategies. Two of those prevention strategies are taking part in regular exercise and eating a healthy diet. Let me, just in case y'all think, I know brothers don't think I'm lying. Right here. Okay, you can see it. It's a 30, the percentage. You know what I'm saying? It tells you eating a healthy diet, man. All right? But I know you can't see it, but the whole point is cancer can, exercise can play a significant role in prevention of many types of cancers. In particular, being physically active can reduce the overall risk of cancers in general. Now, before this Jabberwocky, athletes had the best hearts. That's why if you know about athleticism and taking care of your body, and you see soccer players, which have one of the best hearts in any sport, because that's all they do is run all day. They run here, they're running back and forth. That's how they practice, that's how they play, that's how they train. Running whoop, 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 all day. They have the best hearts, and you see them whoop, toppling over. That is not normal. You mean that the most elite heart on planet Earth is catching, heart problems? No, these people, and before them Jabberwock, they should live long, man. Now I tell you, people who were in shape that didn't live long was bodybuilders. Specifically the ones that lifted weights and took the extra stuff and then ate all that extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to one of our brothers within the gospel, man. Beloved brother Jeremiah. He eats well, man. That brother eats well, and most importantly, and as well as all of us, he is under the banner of the Lord, man. Because the scriptures tell you, hey, he that sinneth, let him fall into the hands of the physician, man. Okay, so so we're gonna continue on. It's got respiratory disease, chronic pulmonary disease. It's a bunch of diseases that are related to the respiratory. And then you got stress. You have stress, man, which is my two things was stress and cholesterol from just a personal aspect. And this is why, now I'm gonna say this as a opening statement to what I'm about to say is that everything has to filter through the scriptures. The Lord is first, but there are things that you can embark on to help. It's like you're concentrating in one area. And I say that to say that there's other things out here. The Bible has everything that you need, okay? Our sword, our Bibles has everything that we need. You know what I'm saying? So like I got my sword in the car, you know what I'm saying? So, or my main sword in the car. I use it at work, so I ain't being procrastinative or lazy not taking it out. But the Bible's first, okay? The Lord killeth and he maketh alive at the end of the day, okay? The Bible has all the information that you need. So now that I said that, you filter everything through the scriptures. Okay, there's books. For me personally, that help. Stoicism. Whatever it is, man. Stop messing with women, or what I'm saying. It's like, stop. But you have to work on. Me personally, I have to work on not being angry all the time, man, because knowledge increases bitterness. And once you understand that, we really only got control over the things we have control over, and everything else is what it is. If there's a person that's vindictively hating on you, you can't control that person. You can control how you react to that person. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. Just ignore them, or move around, or get rid of them. Somebody trying to attack you, you defend yourself. As simple as that. There's no reason. What the fuck are you doing? I ain't doing you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just get rid of the problem, and that'll help you. All right. So let's continue with the scriptures that we're gonna. That's all I'm gonna get out of that book. It's tons of information. I do want to say, again, to those who are. I'm just gonna make sure I ain't missing nothing. Because I'm going to speak on one of the parts that I didn't cover and I kind of did cover, is just aerobics, man. Aerobics. You don't have to put on a Rocky music and go run up the street and bust a sweat. Because guess what? Most of us haven't worked out like that before. And what's going to happen is you're going to work out like that one day. You're going to wake up sore as a motherfucker. And then you ain't gonna want to do it the next day. You know what I'm saying? Or you may not even be able to do it. So all you have to do is go on walks. You know what I'm saying? Go on walks. And then when you get used to that walk, turn into inclines. Go up steep hills. When you get used to that, jog or you speed walk. And then when you get used to that, then you start running. If it's all a mile, all this could be a mile. Build up to within that mile. And you're running within that mile. You don't got to go to 14 miles, 5 miles, 4 miles, 3 miles. You don't have to do that. You can just shorten the time of your mile. If it take you 30 minutes, try to get it to 25, try to get it to 20. You know what I'm saying? And then when you can't get it no lower, then you just add another mile on top of it. There's a build-up strategy, to do it. You don't have to just get out there, So I'm going to read these precepts. It says 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and 19. It says, what? Know ye not that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of the Most High, and ye are not your own? For ye are bought with a price. Therefore, glorify the Most High in your body and in your spirit, which are the Most High's. You see what I'm saying? So if we love the Lord, we'll take care of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta go, to the elite fashion, but you should have a purposeful intent of eating. You know what I'm saying? Not just so good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like you eat rice cakes and drink water. Food is good. I'm gonna season my food because I want to taste some flavor, but I'm not. Well, I'll read this in Sirach 37 and 27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. For all things are not profitable for all men, neither have every soul pleasure in everything. Right? Be not insatiable in anything, nor too greedy upon meats. So when you go into that word unsatiable, it's like unsatiable, it goes back to the word satiable, okay? Should go to the word satiable, that can be satisfied. All right? Now this is another thing. So do not be unsatisfied upon meats, meaning that you could just keep eating and it's not enough. And this is another thing. If you staying up late, you pass that hour, because the Lord created night and day for a reason. We're supposed to go to sleep at night. So when you don't, it messes with your melatonin. And when your melatonin is irregulated, then your body is not going to tell you when you're full. So when you're up late at night and you chilling, your body does not know how to regulate anything anymore. You're almost in a dream state staying up. You're almost like a zombie. So you can eat, you can drink as much, you can just do it, and you're not going to really feel, you're going to feel like you could just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. You can eat all day and you never get full because your melatonin is off. Okay? So let's get back to the precepts. So yeah, unsatiable, like the scriptures say, be not unsatiable in any dainty thing. Okay. Let's see, you know that word dainty. It says delightful, pleasing. Okay. Meaning delicately pretty, exquisite taste or skill. So something, don't do too much of the things you like doing just because it's fun. And guess what? What's the most exciting thing to do is fucking eat. You know, especially as an adult, and you grow up in the ghetto, you start getting some money in your pocket, you're gonna want to eat all fucking day. You're gonna want to drink all day. You ain't have to run and hide and split with your partners and you know, put it in cups and shit. And you know, no, you could just walk around with a bottle, Bourbon Street, you know, knock it back. That don't mean that you do it all the time. You know, and that goes back into, you know, element of thinking within the Stoicism. But the scriptures say it. It tells you, this whole book, the Lord will just tell you straight up in one verse of this whole book could tell you. But like I said, this whole book could go into different angles to make you feel like, oh, that's speaking to me. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord will tell you, man, hey, don't be insatiable. Don't be insatiable upon any dainty thing. Learn how to regulate yourself. Be as a pilgrim. Learn how to say no. Learn how to stop and tell yourself, all right, I've done enough. All right, just because you made a big old plate of food and you thought you could eat it, you know, that's what Jake could go buy something and feel like they got to eat all of it because they bought up. No, bro, you don't got to eat everything. You don't got to eat the whole plate, bro. You can stop. You can, you can stop. You can literally stop and say, all right, I've done enough. You know, you can eat a half a hamburger and be like, all right, I'm good. This is like $5. But is that worth your life? If $5, you don't want to waste this $5, but you're gonna waste your life. You know, Jake, you know, convinced themselves, man. But let's continue on. It says, okay, for Sirach 37:30, it says, for excess of meat bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn the choler, okay, which is anger, okay. By surfeiting have many perished, but he that taketh heed prolongeth his life. Says it. All right. Proverbs. Now I know the scriptures say, don't judge man, eat or drink, food or drink. Now it goes into different things, but even in that aspect, if I see a brother eating canola oil, using canola oil to cook their food, I wouldn't eat it. But I ain't gonna be like, man, he ain't a man of the Lord. Like, no, like that's what you want to do, but the Lord told you what had happened. It's not a sin to deep fry your chicken in canola oil. You know what I'm saying? As long as you teaching and doing this work, it's the most important thing. Okay? And what you do after that is, you can say it's an admonishment. This is, look, one, if you want to have a healthy life, this is how you should eat. Now, if you say, man, fuck that, I'm willing to die and teach this gospel, that's all I want to do. Hey, that's, you know, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. All right? Because we were called to teach this gospel, okay? But you want to be efficient at it. So, but I'll continue on. It says, Proverbs 23:19. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of the flesh, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. So pretty much, if you stop, don't be lazy. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I told you, like, me bringing my sword up, I could have, when I got off work, I could have brought it up, but I had to take a second trip. I'm like, man, I don't want to take the trip. I have all this stuff in my hand. Okay, yeah, I'm not sitting here telling people stuff that I'm not doing or that I'm doing like I'm perfect. Nah, there's elements, but I have a attentive mindset to say I'm not going to be lazy. I'm not going to do this. Sometimes I feel like it's okay, which in this case, last night I thought it was okay, but I didn't think that the spirit's going to get on me and I just get up and do a lesson. Now I'm like, okay, but luckily I was prudent enough to have, you know, my second and third Bible up, you know, up here, okay? And I keep them backups on me, baby. But continuing on, it says 1 Corinthians 6:12, it says, all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. Okay? So many, food, your stomach growl, I gotta eat. You smell the food. You know what I'm saying? Go to a movie theater. If you could walk and buy your ticket and just walk over, and you can have $1,000 in your pocket. Nah, I ain't about to eat that damn popcorn. I'm about to go in and watch this movie. That's what I came to do. But if you smell that popcorn, when they pumping them through the vents and they got the fucking all the lights around the popcorn, because it's messing with your sensual nature. They pump it through the vents so you can smell it, and they put lights around it and have that mug illuminated, so, and it's right directly in front of the door so you can see it. And you're gonna get your stuff and you constantly looking over there, and you're gonna walk over to it. If you go to a movie theater and that's a temptation for you when you don't have too much control. But when you smell it and you just know, like, oh, they just trying to, you know what I'm saying? If I want something, I get something. If I don't, I don't. All right? You should not go in the movie theater like, man, I ain't buying nothing, smell like popcorn, like I can't help myself. That's that nature that you don't have, that temperance, that self-control, okay? Which we're gonna get into that as well. Titus chapter 2, verse 1, it says, but speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, sound in faith, in charity, and patience. Okay, so Slakia, it says, but speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged may be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, and patience. When you go to the word temperate in etymology, it says a person's modest, forbearing, self-restrained, not swayed by passion of climate or seasons, not liable to excessive heat or cold. You're stoic. Okay, you have control over your wants and needs. Okay, you're not just, oh my God, it's food, I gotta have some. Temperatus, restrained, regulated, limited. Okay, sober, calm, steady. What the Lord say, be ye sober. Okay, that means have self-control, because when you're not sober, you don't got control of yourself. I was drunk, I did this. That's like a literal sober. You know what I'm saying? But to be clear-headed, to be able to think and process things without your sensual nature affecting it. Because things make you mad, but you shouldn't react off the anger. You should react off the logic of a situation. Okay? So if a prophet out there calling and say, hey man, y'all 2/3, y'all motherfucking 2/3, you can't move. Why are you cursing? I can't receive the gospel, because you sensual, bro. Like you may not be used to cursing. It may shock you or upset you, but you should be able to put that to the side real quick and listen to what that person's saying and get the information in detail. All right? And it's the same thing with going into your life. You should be able to walk somewhere and say, I'm going to diet today, I'm going to fast today, and then walk into any environment and be able to not indulge in that environment. Same thing with being a man of the Lord. When I first got into this gospel, I was a hermit, bro, like, because I didn't want to be tempted by the world, because I had I used to smoke, hang around with Jake doing 2/3 shit. So I stayed inside till I got built up my skill of self-control. And then once I felt I can go into those environments, I started mingling again. You know what I'm saying? And it helped tremendously. Sometimes you got to fast from people. Sometimes you got to fast from environments as well as food. Okay? Sometimes you got to fast from this motherfucker, man. You got to fast from it. You got to leave it alone, man. All right? Sometimes you got to fast. You know, even apostles in the First Thessalonians, in a way, they say, you know, they through their afflictions, they went to Athens and they didn't want to be bothered, man. Sometimes you gotta have your self time, your me time, but you shouldn't live in that me time. A false balance is an abomination to the Most High. So you can't just live a lone wolf life and say, well, you need your me time. You can't do that. That's unbalanced. Okay, so yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. You know, there's a lot of health going out and about. And you have to examine yourself as well. You know what we know what we're doing. We know how our bodies feel in the morning and how it shouldn't feel. Okay, and things of that nature. But you know, just want to put out there, showing brothers how you can take care of yourselves. So there's many brothers going over to different herbs and different foods and detoxing, beautiful things, man. I just was watching the elders lesson. I believe it was a couple days ago, a day ago. You know, but the whole point is, the elder was going over the wormwood. You know, is on Amazon, which, you know, Esau gave me my shekels today, so I'm about to get that. You know what I'm saying? To detox my body. Now, I don't feel no parasites. But I don't know what a parasite feel like in my body because I never detoxed before, right? So just because I don't feel it don't mean it's not there. Because the detox, the parasites come from a lot of meats. And I've eaten a lot of meat over my time. Okay? Especially in the world, eating undercooked meat and shit like that. But most steak don't cook undercooked meat, but pork definitely have a whole bunch of parasites in it. And I've had it, but I have never done a cleanse or anything like that. So common sense, not sensual nature. I don't feel like I got parasites. No, common sense, logical is like I ate pork before, so I must got something in me. I ain't that important to where this dude eat pork and I eat pork and nothing happens to me outside of me being in this gospel. Okay, and the Lord protecting me. But outside of that, proper logic would tell you, look, I gotta have something in me. And parasites will make you think you're hungry when you're not, because the parasites are trying to eat, instead of you. So with that being said, I want to say call Allah, Yabashim Yashai, Yabashim Yashai, Bashim Kakadas, Brakathum. Hey, Shalom.